witches, how are you? So right now we're having a thunderstorm, well actually a tornado warning, and I am making a video. I just went outside to feel the wonderful strong wind, and it just feels awesome, but it's not gonna hit us, it never does, so I'm gonna make a video. I wanted to start talking about blood magic. This may or may not be blood. I'm not going to tell you. I don't want YouTube to freak out. But anyway, so some uses. I'm just gonna get right into uses because there are some YouTube videos that do explain, like, you know, sort of explain the reasons for using blood, but the gist of it is that you're adding your life force to your magic directly through your blood. It's great to use as an offering. Just remember, never like slice yourself open. You can use a diabetic lancet. You can use a piercing needle. You can use a regular needle. It hurts a little bit more. But don't cut yourself with your athame ever. You should never do that. If you do touch blood with your athame, technically you're supposed to throw it away, but you can wash it really good, cleanse it really well, and then bury it for 3 days and then keep using it. But don't cut yourself with your tools. So once you have extracted your blood, what do you do with it? Well, what you can do with it, you can add it to oils, but you really don't want to add it to the entirety of the oil. So what you would do is just take, you can get these at the Dollar Tree. I like to store blood in these, menstrual blood mainly. I'm not gonna get this much blood out of my body unless I get cut really bad and just wanna save it. And to store it, you can stick it in the fridge for about a week, and you can freeze it for longer and then thaw it, but I always say fresh is best. But if you're gonna save your menstrual blood, then definitely freeze that. You can use the little moon cups or whatever to get it out. But anyway, we'll talk more about menstrual blood in a minute. But so what you can do to add it to oils, just take one of these and then pour some oil in there, and then just add 3 drops. I like to do things in 3s. You can add 3 drops and then use that. You don't even have to fill it up all the way, just fill it up maybe halfway, you know, just to use it for a working. One thing I like to do too is just to leave an offering for a deity, is to just take a chime candle or whatever kind of candle you're gonna use, and then just rub the blood on there, because you're directly offering your life force to that deity. And I feel like they really appreciate that. Plus it connects you to them. But just remember that it's not for beginners. If you are a brand new witch, please don't start off by using blood in your magic. Wait till you have some experience. But it does create a magical bond between you and your spell or ritual. It's extremely powerful because it represents life, and it also represents death. That's why you don't want to mess around with it until you're comfortable. It also adds your life force, like I said, directly to the magic. Do not ever take it from an unwilling participant. Don't take it from an animal that's unwilling. I do not believe in animal sacrifice. I just don't. I don't work with demons or anything like that. So you're never going to catch me sacrificing a goat for anything. So I just use my blood directly. You can do a blood bond with someone, but I wouldn't suggest that you do that unless it's someone that you're married to and you plan to be married to them forever. You can research that on your own, because I'm not going to tell you how to do that, because I advise against it, because a lot of you guys probably haven't been married for many years, and you don't want to do that with just someone that you just started dating or a friend, because you're going to have an argument eventually and you don't want a blood bond hanging out there because they're hard to break. They are breakable, but it's hard. You don't want to take blood from someone who's immobile, and you certainly don't want to take it from a child. Okay. You don't want to use it for spells that are minor spells. You want to use it for things that are, that are important. Don't use it for something small. Use it for something big. But you can use it for offerings. So, other things that you can do with it. You can add it, like I said, you can add it to the oils. You can add it to inks. You can anoint crystals with it. I already talked about the candles. But you don't have to just anoint the candles for offerings. You can also anoint candles for spell work with blood. I do that a lot. If it's a serious spell, I do that. Just be careful. Like I said, my favorite way to use it is to sign my name or to write the entire petition in blood. If I haven't like this much, if I have enough, I'll just use my quill pen and dip it in there and write out the entire petition with it. And then usually what I'll do with that petition, I'll do two things. I'll either burn it, depending on how I feel, or I'll bury it at night under the full moon usually. If I'm banishing something, I might bury it during the dark moon. It just depends on what you're doing and what you feel called to do at the end of the spell. You can also add a drop or two or three, like I like to do, to the water in your western corner when you're casting a circle. It just brings in, adds that life force and makes it more magical. You can also use it to draw sigils and empower those sigils. Make it your own sigil. Don't, just take a deity sigil and go over it with blood and let that be it. You can do that, but if you really want to do something magical, create your own sigil that represents you, and then go over it with your blood, or just draw it completely in your blood and then activate it and use that sigil. You can also use it in magical drawings. You can put a drop into a libation as an offering. I do this with Hecate a lot. I will add blood to her wine, and I'll do it to her candles. I haven't tried it in food yet for her, but I always put it in her wine. You can also charge your collection of menstrual blood under the full moon, and then you can add it to water and then water your plants with it, and this will connect you to your plants on the deepest level. And you can also draw magical symbols with it. You can use it in white magic or dark magic. I suggest that you don't fuck around and use your blood in dark magic unless you are advanced, because you don't want to create a magical tie to your life force and then do a curse. Just be careful. Be careful. Keep some things you want to keep separate. Now, if you're advanced enough, go for it. But if not, don't. You can also add it to mojo bags, and you can use it to feed mojo bags. Just add a drop. You can actually add a drop to your ritual baths, or even your witchy tea if you're not grossed out by drinking your own blood. And you can also use it to decorate your Book of Shadows. You can take, do some embossing work with just a needle and blood and decorate that in your Book of Shadows. You can place a bloody fingerprint in your Book of Shadows and your Book of Mirrors to infuse these magical books with your life force to connect them to you. And you can also add it to a spell in any way that feels comfortable to you, but just be careful. Like I said, you can also anoint talismans and amulets. Those are not the same thing, but you can anoint either one with them. You can dab a bit on your third eye during rituals or spell work. You can add a drop to protection jars, and you should, okay? I would even suggest adding a drop from each family member, from the adults in the family, and then from the children, you can use their hair is the easiest way that I've found. Let's see. If you are in love with someone, I'm not saying to put a love spell on someone that does not like you. Don't do that. I'm completely against love spells. I've had one backfire when I was 16 years old, and it was horrible. Don't do it. But if you have a willing partner, you can feed them some of your blood. You can, and it's kind of, kind of like a blood bond at that point. Let's see. Just put the blood on your finger and have them lick it off. And it'll help it enhance the attraction. But that is if you're both disease-free. But at that point, if you're together and you're having sex anyway, it doesn't really matter. But it'll enhance your connection. You can also enhance your connection to Mother Earth by burying a bit of your blood under a full moon. And like I said earlier, you can use it to offer it to a deity using a libation or candle. You can also create a honey jar for manifestation and add it to the honey jar. Because anytime you do a honey jar, whatever you put in there is going to stick. And that's the point of the honey. So those are the do's. Here are the don'ts. Like I said at the beginning, don't let it touch your athame. Don't share your blood with others unless they are a willing participant and you have been in a relationship for a long time with this person. Don't consume too much of your own blood or any other blood because it is toxic in high levels because it has a lot of iron in it, so be careful. And lastly, don't share it with anyone that you're not 100% sure about. Just don't, because they could have diseases. We know blood is one of those things that it has the potential to kill you because it can have God knows what or goddess knows what kind of bloodborne pathogen in there. So just be careful. Now, menstrual blood. So if you're a dude and you're not interested anymore, you can hang up. You can go away now. But menstrual blood. So females, you may feel a stronger connection to your herbs and crystals, Mother Earth, and the elements during your cycle. Embrace that. You're definitely going to feel a deeper connection to the moon. If you can sync up, if your menstrual cycle syncs up with the full moon, awesome. Mine has, and I love it. I love it. You can keep a Moonflow diary as part of your Book of Mirrors. So what that is basically you use it to journal your feelings, your gratitude, your goals, your insights, your reflections, your dreams while you're on your monthly cycle. And then in your Book of Shadows, you can include any menstrual blood magic rituals that you do or spells that you do with your menstrual blood, and even add some menstrual blood to that page, or maybe even write the title of the spell in menstrual blood in your BOS. So you can also take the menstrual blood and decorate your BOS with that. Like I said earlier, doing the little pinpricks on the cover, you can do that with menstrual blood as well. You can bake a cake of light, and I'll put a link below for that. You can work this magic repeatedly to retain the effect, to banish unneeded thoughts. So if you are going through, if you're on your period and you want to banish something, it's kind of like the perfect time because you've got the blood there to strengthen that, and you can kind of, it's a good time also because our emotions are heightened during this time, so you can start off by doing some shadow work, and then based on that shadow work, something's going to come up that doesn't serve you, and then you can banish that and use some of that menstrual blood in that spell to banish. You can just take a candle, a black candle, rub it with that. First I would carve what I wanted to banish in the candle, and then just rub it with the menstrual blood, and then light it, and then take whatever's left and just dispose of it off of your property. And do that every cycle. Get rid of something every cycle until you are rid of all that shit that you don't need. And then the last thing that I put no, that's not the last thing, I have more stuff. But the next thing that I put, you can do a bath, and don't be grossed out by taking a bath on your period, because it's actually helpful, and I'll tell you why in a second. But when you're taking your bath while you're on your period, you can put your crystals around, your favorite ones, put some salt, put some candles, put some incense. You can even add some oil to your bath, just whatever evokes tranquility with you. And then anoint a crystal with your menstrual blood. Say out loud what you want to release, and then hold the candle over the incense and declare the unneeded thought banished and out of your life. And do the same thing over a candle. And then wash the crystal in the tub and watch the blood flow away. Finish your bath and thank the element of water. Thank the element of fire. Thank the element of air because you had the incense. And of course, thank earth because you did use the crystal to help banish what did not serve you. And then watch the water go down the drain and then shower off. And then you can also use your menstrual blood in the honey jar. And it makes it so pretty to add flower petals because we're on our period and our emotions are heightened and we love pretty things, right? You can also use menstrual blood in rain spells because it's said, this is a legend, that says that turquoise was actually the fallen menstrual blood of Bast herself. And then the last thing that I have is you can perform menstrual blood divination in the bathtub. What you want to do is get in the tub, just plain water. If you want to put a little salt, you can, light a candle, whatever makes you happy. But get in the tub on your heaviest flow day. It needs to be your heaviest flow day because you want stuff coming out of you. Yeah, right. But then look down, and as the blood comes out, what do you see? Even maybe video it. That way you can keep going back and looking at it and kind of seeing what images form or what letters form or what numbers form. What does it look like to you? So that's all I have, and I hope that I gave you something that you didn't know that you could use while you're on your period, or a way that you can use blood in your magic. But just remember, when you are using oils, don't take, like I would not take this self-love oil that I worked so hard to make and just put blood in it because, the blood gets old. I would pour some in here and then put some blood in here and then shake it up and then use it for whatever I want to use it for, and then dispose of whatever's left after about a week. And you can put it in the fridge for a week, but then get rid of it. Just get rid of it. You don't want to keep old rotten blood. But that's all I have, witches, and blessed be. I'll see you soon.